Drop the brace.
Hey guys, Mike here from FullHouserRS, and today I'm going to bring you a video that's kind of not about RuneScape, but also kind of about RuneScape, because it's about the technical aspects of our computers and what we do to make our RuneScape videos and what we do to stream and such, because we had a question about that in the comments, so I thought I'd make a video about it. Keep in mind, while I am talking about some of the stuff that we use to make videos and to stream, this isn't exactly a tutorial about how to use them, because there are plenty of tutorials out there already for all the stuff that we're using, and I think they've already covered it better than I ever could. Okay, to start off, I guess I could tell you about my computer. What I use is pretty much, it's a computer that I built completely myself with all the parts. It was my first computer that I built myself, and I wanted to make one to last. So all of my computer is completely parts based, and so nothing of it is stock. So I'm putting some information about my computer up on the screen now, and there's a few key things that we want to focus on, which are the big things when dealing with videos or gaming in general. And I guess processor has a little bit to do about it, more in the video rendering parts of making videos. And since I do have an i7, rendering is pretty fast. Me and Ryan pretty much have a consensus that our rendering times with Sony Vegas is about the time that it would take the actual video to play. So if it's a 20-minute video, it's basically going to render in 20 minutes times 2, so 40 minutes to completely render. And this is with a program that uses our graphics card to update that. And so my graphics card, as you can see, is an AMD Radeon HD 6750. It is not the best graphics card, but I bought it for 90 bucks, and it's actually really good for a $90 graphics card. It can play most new games with maxed graphics without falling too low below the 40 to 50 frames per second mark. And I really enjoy it because it was my first actual graphics card. Every other time I had integrated graphics, and once you go to a real graphics card, you're never going to be going back. But other than that, you can see that I have 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is probably more than enough for what I am doing, but it's nice to have more extra RAM nowadays because RAM is very cheap compared to everything else you put in your computer. And so if you needed to upgrade something and you don't have any money to spend, I guess the RAM is an okay upgrade. Some people have as much as like 30 to 40 gigabytes of RAM, which you should only need that much if you have 64-bit window, because if you don't have 64-bit windows, you're limited to, 3 gigabytes of RAM, and that's all you can use. So if you want more RAM, you need 64-bit windows, and if you want a decent amount of RAM, 8 is fine. 6 is actually completely fine too. And I would say the minimum you would want for making videos is probably 3, but that's the absolute minimum. And here are the specs for Ryan's laptop. It is a Dell XPS 15, and it has pretty much the same things that my computer has. Its clock speed on its i7 is a little bit slower, and that's because it's a mobile i7, which are just a little bit weaker. It's still pretty good, and he has 6 gigabytes of RAM instead of 8. Still plenty fine right there. The graphics card part of his specs look a little weird because it says he has an Intel graphics card, which isn't 100% true. His laptop has Optimus, which is a dual graphics card system that switches to the weaker one when you want to save battery life and the stronger one when you want to have actual, video gaming power or actual video power in general. So his actual more powerful card is an NVIDIA GeForce GT 420M, and that is a pretty good card. As you can see in his videos, it runs RuneScape really well. It is able to run well even recording, and while it is theoretically a weaker card than my card, it seems to run on par with it. It lacks in some of the processing power that my card has, but that doesn't really show through very well on games like RuneScape, which is a very processor-oriented game at the moment. And now on to the software that we use to make our videos. To start off, we capture all of our RuneScape footage with wraps, and while it's not the best video capture thing that we could use, it's probably the one with the best quality to overhead ratio, which basically means it doesn't use as many resources as some of the other screen capture devices out there. If we're recording solo, we use Audacity to record our audio because we can use noise removal, and that gets rid of a lot of background noise and makes our voices sound better. And it's a very helpful thing. Even if we're not recording with Audacity, what we use is a program called Skype Call Recorder, which does a decent job at recording it. It doesn't have the quality that I wish it had, but it's probably the best free one out there. And it's free, and it doesn't have any limits on how much you can use it. So when we record a group call with that, we're able to drag it into Audacity and use the noise removal on that as well, and that helps make it a little bit better there too. Just for fun, I'm going to leave this voice clip unaltered without noise removal, just so you can see how much the noise removal actually takes away. And it might not be so loud here, but when I have my air conditioner running, you would definitely hear it. And then we have to edit our video. So what we use to edit is Sony Vegas, like I said earlier. We actually use Sony Vegas Pro 12 64-bit because we have a 64-bit system. And then once we have the video rendered and we're uploading it to YouTube, we make our thumbnails and of course Photoshop CS6. I mean, what else were we going to make it in? And the last thing that I was asked about was streaming. So first off, what we use to stream is XSplit, and we thought that that was the easiest program to learn and get to using. And since Ryan learned it right away, I mean, he's Ryan, come on, he learned it that quick, come on, you can do it really fast. But yeah, joking aside, it's really easy to use, and so that's one that we would recommend for streaming. As for the internet that you need to stream it, now you want a fast upload. Of course, the better the upload, the better you can make your stream look. You don't have to record in 720p, but we're kind of quality freaks, so we try to make the best looking videos that we can. And so we need a good upload, and unfortunately, I do not have a great upload. Ryan was the only one to have a good upload, and Bob kinda has a good upload. But as for a speed that I would recommend for just bare minimum streaming of any kind, I would say you probably want at least 2 megabits per second up. You can figure out what both your upload and download speed is by looking up speedtest.net. I'm pretty sure most people have heard of it by now, and you can figure out what your upload is there. Now, 2 is probably the minimum. Like I said, if you want 720p, you probably want a minimum of 3 to 4, and if you want a 720p that's very smooth, 6 and up would probably be what you're looking for. Now, if you want 1080p, that's one that I haven't had enough time to mess around with, and I would assume there's a curve at which the quality becomes harder to sustain, so I would think that you would probably need 8 to 12 megabits per second to run 1080p very smoothly. But the problem with that is less people's computers can run 1080p compared to 720p. So I would suggest sticking to 720p if you're going to stream, and especially if you don't have that great of an internet. So yeah, that's about all I have for this video, guys. If there's anything I missed, I may have overlooked something, so feel free to ask questions in the comments, and I will answer them as quickly as I can. And until next time, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.